All right, breaking news. We are now seeing the formation of yet another MAGA civil war, and this one is getting nasty because top figures within the MAGA movement have all split off into different camps and are at each other's necks about a key issue. Now, this happened a few months back in January, but it was a little bit lower stakes because they were arguing about H-1B visas, and basically Elon Musk power tripped and banned a bunch of MAGA people on Twitter, which caused a huge outrage. But what's happening now is a little bit higher stakes. So I'll be covering this civil war relentlessly because it kind of pertains to global trade, the global economy, and America's ability to freely trade with allies or even have allies in the first place. So let me break down the different camps that are currently forming and the side where I fall on. So let's start here, because it all escalates from here. Elon Musk feuds with Peter Navarro, who is Trump's top trade advisor, on tariffs, as White House says, quote, boys will be boys. And Peter Navarro is really wrong on tariffs, but Elon Musk called him, quote, Peter Retardo multiple times. Let me break this down. Elon Musk lashed out against top White House trade advisor Peter Navarro on Tuesday, calling him Peter Retardo and, quote, dumber than a sack of bricks, escalating a feud between two of Trump's allies. Now, the clash began when Navarro, who supports tariffs a lot, was asked about Musk's skepticism of tariffs. He said on TV that Musk's support for free trade is driven by his desire for, quote, cheap foreign parts. Now, the odd thing is, Navarro's not wrong, but Elon Musk isn't wrong to want free trade. Navarro is incredibly misguided on tariffs, and you know what's kind of funny regarding Elon Musk? It's funny to see how quickly he stumbles onto a truthful position when it actually hurts his wallet. He's had no problem intentionally lying about immigrants, about voting mechanisms, about minorities or LGBTQ people. This dude will lie about everything, but when Trump's misunderstanding or when Trump's lies about tariffs all of a sudden begin to hurt Elon Musk's pockets, now all of a sudden he has a spine and stumbles onto the truth. It's really funny how that works, right? But I mean, when Navarro says that Musk wants cheap foreign parts, he's not wrong, but Navarro says that like it's a bad thing. I don't know. He said Musk is, quote, not a car manufacturer. He is a car assembler in many cases, sourcing components from other countries, even though Tesla has several US assembly plants. And none of this is me running defense for Musk. I just happen to think that free trade is probably good. Musk responded a day later in a series of invective-filled X-posts, repeatedly calling the trade czar retardo, referring to him as a moron, dangerously dumb, and a lot of other random things. I mean, Elon Musk really cannot stop these childish meltdowns, but that's just the beginning of the MAGA civil war. It's going to continue to escalate as more and more people come out and feud. So let me show you Benny Johnson. You may have seen this clip of Benny Johnson saying the other day, losing money doesn't really cost you anything. But let me compare this to what he said about Kamala just a few months back, because someone dug up what he said when the market dropped like 2% under Kamala. Check this part out.
Losing money costs you nothing. This is just the reality of life. You're gonna, like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses money. Everyone loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact, you learn a lot of lessons actually by losing money.
It's bloody Black Monday. Holy moly. The Kamala crash is here.
Kamala needs to get in front of a camera today. People are losing their homes today. People are losing their fortunes today. People are losing their futures today. People are losing their 401ks today. This is shaping up to be one of the worst market days in American history.
Keep in mind, the market was down like 3 or 4%, and he was saying Kamala needs to get in front of the camera today. We're all losing everything today. Meanwhile, Trump is out golfing, and he's like, losing money doesn't cost you anything. It's actually incredibly disgusting. Check out this next clip of MAGA loyalists blasting Trump. You'll see a few here. Dave Portnoy, Ben Shapiro. You'll see Aiden Ross.
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. I've been trying to understand him. I don't. And everything's in the because of it. Donald Trump just cost me $20 million or whatever he did. Maybe don't be on the golf course.
Everyone in this room, everyone loves you. And I just want to say you're a true hero for this country. I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor?
Because Donald Trump is the nominee against Joe Biden. I won't just vote for him. I will walk over broken glass to vote for him. His giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally.
This is a vivid demonstration of very well-known, prominent Trump fans, whether they're in your feeds, as they say, or not, going through their own personal experience of the harm of these Trump economic policies.
And all of these people work in the same industry. So as Benny Johnson is running defense for Trump and saying, suck it up, we see Ben Shapiro kind of striking back. Now, I don't have the clip on hand, but Ben Shapiro said in a show the other day, to all of the people saying that we need to suck it up, you don't understand. So he's basically directly calling out Benny Johnson. Well, not directly, indirectly calling out Benny Johnson, I should say. We also have this article, Joe Rogan, Dave Portnoy, Ben Shapiro are among Trump backers now questioning tariffs. A lot of people begin to realize, I don't want to do the whole I told you so thing because I want to welcome people into the fold. But the thing is, one of the candidates was very clearly and repeatedly unhinged and unpredictable, and the other one was a normal human being, and she had a steady hand, which she showed us time and time again. So that's why I don't really feel bad when Dave Portnoy says, welcome to Orange Monday. That's what they were calling it, by the way, was Orange Monday. Portnoy lost $20 million. Joe Rogan, one of the nation's most influential podcasters who endorsed Trump on the eve of last year's election, said in March that Trump's feud with Canada was stupid and bemoaned the fact that Canadians booed us over tariffs. He now says that the detaining of immigrants is horrific when they do it without due process, and he's kind of turned his back on the tariffs thing as well. So it'll be interesting to see the civil war grow and the factions continue to form. Remember, just a week ago, the Trump admin said they're going to be distancing themselves from Elon Musk because they deem him a political liability, and I see why. This dude is incredibly deranged, but now he's being deranged against the Trump admin. Trump is sitting there next to Peter Navarro as Peter Navarro gives Trump advice, and Elon Musk is calling him the R slur. He's calling him dangerously dumb, a moron, a loser, and the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, boys will be boys. We will let their public sparring continue. Ben Shapiro released an episode about 30 minutes ago. Let's see what he says here.
Even some of the biggest advocates of the tariffs are starting to make the argument that Trump should be taking off ramps here. Here, I cite Oren Cass. So Oren has been a long-time proponent of a sort of right-leaning industrial policy. He's the chief economist at American Compass. And again, his policy has been very interventionist with regard to the economy. I did an interview with Oren, it must have been 7 or 8 years ago at this point, in which we discussed the fact that there really kind of were no in-principle limits on what he thought the United States government should do with regard to propping up particular parts of American industry. He has a piece today titled, Stop Freaking Out, Trump's Tariffs Can Still Work. But what it really is a plea to President Trump to not go as fast, not break as many things, and to negotiate off-ramps. When even Oren Cass is telling you, Mr. President, that you should really take this slower, you probably should take this slower. Oren Cass writes this, going from 0 to 60, he's talking about China here, which we'll get to in a moment. He says, going from 0 to 60 so fast is unnecessary and unwise. The most determined company could not shift production so quickly. A better approach would be to raise the Chinese tariff in 3 steps. 20 percentage points now, in a year, and in 2 years, which is actually quite slow, right? And for Congress to legislate this by revoking China's permanent normal trade relations status, as was the bipartisan...
Okay, so they get more into policy and why Trump's policy makes no sense, but it's funny. I was listening to this and I texted my MAGA friend from high school and I said, Ben Shapiro has a good episode today. I've never said that before. And my friend said, of course you'd say that. Ben Shapiro is shitting on Trump the entire episode. He agrees with you on the tariffs. And I was like, yeah, I guess that does follow. I wouldn't listen to him in any other scenario. But I guess I will leave it at that. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. I will see you all in the next video. And by the way, if you want to help push back against the MAGA ecosystem that has allowed this tariff lie to permeate, make sure you scroll down and hit that subscribe button. Let me show you this chart that people are getting sick of me showing. I hate having to always plug myself, but we are on the cusp of superseding a few key right-wing figures on YouTube, and it's because this chart shows fastest growing political and political adjacent YouTube channels. The Adam Mockler channel beat Megyn Kelly, we beat Charlie Kirk, we beat Ben Shapiro in terms of month-over-month growth. Now we have to beat the Joe Rogan and Fox News channel, and Candace Owens. How is Candace Owens there? But if you want to help, scroll down, subscribe. Love you all. See you in the next one. Peace out.